I'm asking you to not speak where your veins are pumping out of your forehead. Please. I apologize, and I said to you, I will not talk to him again. What more do you want from me?
And to hear the message where it was very far from a meme, and it was actually completely contradictory to what she'd been saying from the beginning, whilst screaming in my face.
I love you and PK and your kids, and you know that. I know that you know that. And then Bo said something today that it made it seem like maybe it was something weird. So obviously I'm showing it. I have nothing to hide. So I'm going to read it to you guys now.
Welcome back to Celebrity News Addict. Today, we'll be diving into all the details of two of Beverly Hills' most talked about divorces and a friendship breakdown that is so shocking we just can't look away. In this video, we'll get into all the piping hot tea surrounding Kyle's text exchange with PK, Dorit and Kyle's ugly feud, how the rest of the cast have reacted to the battle of the best friends, and the latest update, how this has turned into Kyle accusing Dorit of being too touchy-feely with Mauricio. That's not all. We'll also be covering the juicy rumours about a whole cast plan to take Kyle down for being too close to producers and too controlling over the show. Plus, sources reveal that LVP may make a return to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. From leaked texts to friendship breakdowns, there's so much to cover, with more headlines coming out as we speak. So let's get right into it. Let's kick things off with a quick background on Dorit and PK's relationship timeline and how they arrived at the destructive and toxic separation that we find ourselves in today. Back in 2011, Dorit met PK through mutual friends in New York City, and the pair started dating. Just a few years later, in February 2014, the couple welcomed their first child, Jagger, who's now age 10. And the whirlwind romance didn't stop there, as 1 year later, on March 7th, 2015, Dorit and PK tied the knot in a Great Gatsby-themed wedding back in NYC, where it all began. Their love story continued as they welcomed their daughter Phoenix in February of the following year. Shortly after the birth of Phoenix, Dorit was ready for a new challenge, and so she joined the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, making her debut in season 7 in 2016. During the next few seasons on the show, Dorit and PK seemed to grow a real friendship with Kyle and Mauricio, which Kyle would later deem as exaggerated, just one of the many times one of these two has stabbed the other in the back. Anyway, before we dive into the most recent drama, a pivotal moment for Dorit and PK occurred in October 2021, when Dorit was robbed at gunpoint in their home in Encino Hills with Phoenix and Jagger, while PK was away in London on a business trip. This led to Dorit struggling with PTSD and a lot of side eyes from the rest of the cast, which became a central storyline for Dorit over the past couple of years. Then, in October 2022, at BravoCon, Erika Jayne made her iconic statement, which seemed to predict the downfall of this seemingly loved-up couple. When asked who she thought would be next to split, Erika said with unabashed confidence, Dorit and PK.
What Bravo-Celebrity relationship do you think is headed to Splitsville next?
I think it's Dorit and PK.
And maybe Erika should put down the mic and turn to the magic mirror ball, as her predictions came true in 2023 when rumours started circling that Dorit and PK were headed for a separation. Although at the time the pair denied these rumours, stating they were working through their issues, it wasn't long before their house of cards came crumbling down. After a few episodes of RHOBH, which followed Dorit and PK's journey with relationship counselling, and Dorit opening up about how the PTSD impacted her day-to-day life and marriage, in May 2024, just 7 months after denying their separation and weeks after celebrating their 9-year wedding anniversary, Dorit and PK officially announced they would be separating, with an Instagram post which said, quote, "We as a couple have been subject to a lot of speculation about our marriage. We have had our struggles over the last few years and continue to work through them as two people who love each other and share two amazing children together. To safeguard our deep friendship and maintain a harmonious environment for our children, we have made the mutual and difficult decision to take some time apart and reevaluate our relationship while we prioritize our children. We appreciate your love and support while we continue to do the work necessary throughout this journey. With love, Dorit and PK. As we can see from the show, there's a lot of factors that are playing into this messy struggle between the couple, including Dorit's PTSD, PK's struggle with alcohol use, and PK claiming that he felt emasculated by Dorit's success. However, amid all of the chaos, one thing that Dorit almost certainly didn't think would be a problem in her relationship was her fellow housewife Kyle siding with and inappropriately texting her soon-to-be ex-husband. Now let's take a couple of seconds to look back at some of the key moments at play here between Kyle and Dorit and how we got into this mess. So, the pair have been friends ever since Lisa Vanderpump introduced Dorit on the show back in 2016 and have grown increasingly close over the years. However, things have never been completely smooth sailing. The first sign of tension between the pair arose when Dorit's closeness with both Kyle and LVP seemed to cause a bit of a friendship triangle, with Dorit sitting awkwardly in the middle. Speaking on this back in 2018, Dorit said, quote, "I'm never going to get in the middle between their friendship." But clearly, Dorit was growing close to Kyle and their friendship was developing. And nothing highlighted this more than season 8, when Kyle defended none other than Teddy Mellencamp in an argument, instead of Dorit, and Dorit couldn't quite believe it. She said in a confessional, quote, "I don't know why one of my best friends would be sticking up for someone that she's just met, rather than sticking up for me." She added, quote, "It really hurts me. It just feels so wrong." Looking back on it, maybe Dorit should have taken this as a sign that Kyle would be hesitant to side with her in the future. After this though, it seemed Kyle learned her lesson for a while about defending Dorit and the pair grew closer, as in season 9, filmed in 2019, Kyle defended Dorit in an argument with Lisa Vanderpump when the dog that Dorit had adopted ended up in a kill shelter after Dorit had tried to rehome it safely. Kyle's decision to defend Dorit to the end ultimately resulted in LVP leaving the show. Although, maybe now this alliance is breaking down, she may be back. Andy Cohen certainly hopes so, as a source close to production told OK Magazine on January 16th that, quote, "Rumours have been circulating about Beverly Hills that Andy Cohen wants Lisa Vanderpump to return, but this would likely upset Kyle. So we'll have to wait and see on that one." Anyway, the pair hit another bump in the road in season 10 when Kyle launched her Kyle x Shahida clothing line with Shahida Clayton. Dorit sarcastically claimed that Kyle would, quote, "throw her name on clothes to find success." This led to the pair taking a break and not speaking for a bit. Despite this little hiccup, things returned to normal in September 2020 when Kyle and Dorit went on vacation together with their husbands, something that becomes yet another point of contention later after Kyle's infamous Amazon Live. The best friends union remained strong over the next couple of years as Kyle and Mauricio rallied to support Dorit and PK after their home invasion in 2021. But things started to become a bit more serious in the season 12 reunion, when Dorit repeatedly took Kathy's side in the never-ending family feud between Kyle and her sisters Kathy and Kim. After Kathy threatened to destroy Kyle during a night out in Colorado, Dorit attempted to defend Kathy, which led to Kyle cutting her off. Let's have a quick reminder.
Why are you upset with me right now because I got upset?
I think that I've had so much that's hurt me, and
She wants you to accept a little bit of responsibility in this, I think.
Can I
Not
talk to my
just
sister?
all.
I thought we were going to have more to our relationship.
I don't want you to interject in this right now.
No problem.
Thank you. I love you, but I really...
Listen, we're all waiting
Thank
and
you.
trying to, move this along. So
Okay.
if you can figure out a way to work it out,
okay,
it's great.
All right.
It was only downhill from there, as their earliest issue with LVP came back to bite them, with Dorit feeling left out of another friendship triangle, this time between Kyle and Morgan Wade. As Kyle grew increasingly closer to Morgan and Teddy during the breakdown of her relationship with Mauricio, Dorit was left feeling as though her and Kyle were never really friends. This culminated in the text that ended it all, when, before the season 13 reunion, which aired in February 2024, Dorit told Erika, quote, "There's stuff with Kyle and I that's going on, and it hurts and bothers me the most. Check this out."
He sends me a text yesterday, basically trying to silence me. It was so manipulative. It was so calculated.
It's like a novel.
Thank you.
What the fuck? I have been wanting to reach out because I know we're in a weird place. Of course, some of the interview comments hurt my feelings and creative issues. They always do. I don't want to lose someone else in my life over a TV show. They don't even know we are going through a hard time, so I don't see the need in bringing it up there. I would like to sit down and talk after we get through tomorrow.
How would you feel if you got this message?
I would feel manipulated.
Okay.
More fuel was later added to the fire when Kyle said on Amazon Live that Dorit had, quote, exaggerated their friendship, and that she was furious that Dorit didn't say that Kyle was her favourite out of the 3 Richard sisters at BravoCon. Kind of contradictory statements there, but let's move on. The real nail in the coffin has been Kyle's lack of support for Dorit during her separation from PK, and Kyle's decision to instead involve herself inappropriately with PK. I know this is the bit you've all been waiting for, so now we've got all of the background out the way, let's get straight into it. In episode 4 of season 14, which aired in December of last year, Kyle revealed to Garcelle that she texted PK back in the summer after his separation from Dorit was announced, and is still texting him despite the fact that her and Dorit are on the outs, and she hasn't been there to support her during this difficult time. When Dorit learned about the text messages in the following episodes and confronted Kyle about how uncomfortable she felt about the text exchange, Kyle insisted that it was nothing more than, quote, sending memes back and forth with PK. However, Dorit made it clear that she needed Kyle to stop texting her husband, especially when, at the time, Kyle and PK weren't even really speaking to Dorit. Let's have a quick reminder of how that went down.
I ever thought in the past, ever, that it bothered me that PK and I sent memes, I would never have done that. It's not the texting, it's that you don't actually tell me. It's not cool. And it hurt me. And honestly, if I'm going to be really honest, PK's been a better friend to me than she has lately. I apologize, and I said to you, I will not talk to him again. What more do you want from me? I want you to stop raising me. No, listen.
Then, in episode 7, during a cast trip to Chuck E. Cheese, Kyle, in an attempt to defend herself, decided to show Sutton, Erika, and Garcelle the last text message she had sent to PK as a way of proving her innocence.
Right here, when they made the announcement, I said, I know you have a lot of friends, but I am also one, and here if you need me. I've never repeated anything you've shared with me, and never would. We'll keep sending memes and won't forget laughing emojis. That is what I wrote to him.
This revelation did the exact opposite of what Kyle was hoping for, and in fact pushed the cast further onto Dorit's side. After hearing this message, Garcelle told Bose about the text, who then immediately called Dorit to tell her. Dorit was understandably frustrated and angry that she was, quote, the last to know about the contents of the message, saying she'd just spoken to Erika, who had told her that Kyle's text was, quote, not in any way inappropriate. Check this out.
Garcelle came over, and one thing that she brought up that disturbed me is that I think there's more to the texting with PK than just, oh, we're sending friendly memes back and forth.
I literally just talked to Erika.
She showed her phone, and it's nothing bad. The text message that she sent to PK is not in any way inappropriate.
I wouldn't think it was. It was her reaction that made me go, whoa.
A further insight into how both Dorit and Kyle were feeling about the text exchange was shared on the after show, where Dorit said, quote, if the shoe was on the other foot, OMG, would you be okay with it? I can tell you, hell no. So why on earth do you think it's okay for you to do it? She added, quote, I don't even understand why I have to spell it out. I know she knows better. Dorit also expressed her suspicion around the fact that no one had asked Kyle to read the text, but that she had volunteered it. And, like all great Housewives drama, Dorit also took this to social media when she, ironically, liked a meme posted by the account FaceReality16, which said, quote, "I couldn't help but wonder, does Dorit send Mauricio funny little memes throughout the day?" Then, in this week's episode, one of Dorit's confessionals shed more light on the real situation between Kyle, PK, and Mauricio.
PK doesn't pick up the phone to Kyle and discuss our issues. But after dinner with Mo, when Kyle and Mo used to live together, he'd go back to the house. I know he'd see Kyle, and I know all the conversations they used to have. Kyle would talk to him about her issue with me, and PK would talk to her about his issue with me. PK would tell me.
Dorit also recounted how she felt about Kyle and PK's text exchange in an episode of Watch What Happens Live, which aired on January 21st. Take a look.
Your reaction to the text message that was read aloud?
You know, at that moment, I'm processing so much. I just remember her reaction at the Viper Room was so surprising. And then the fact that she shared the text message with the girls, everyone but me. And then to hear the message where it was very far from a meme, and it was actually completely contradictory to what she'd been saying from the beginning, whilst screaming in my face.
Okay.
So it was a lot to process.
Despite all the evidence stacking up against her, Kyle continues to be on the defense and is not backing down on this one. She has stated multiple times that she and PK always had a, quote, brother-sister type of situation, and that Dorit was previously aware of and fine with their relationship, arguing that this text exchange has been blown out of proportion. On January 14th's episode of The After Show, Kyle said, quote, "Forget how it could be seen or what the audience may think, or how it could be interpreted. Everybody here, regardless of if we're having an argument or we don't get along, everybody here knows my character, and they know I'm not that person." She also added that off the back of Dorit reading out Kyle's text at the reunion, PK may have felt that anything he said via text wouldn't be confidential or hidden from production. So she added, quote, "I'm thinking, I don't know who anyone thinks they can trust around here right now. I also want to be like, I'm someone who doesn't repeat things. And this is the first time that there was something major going on in PK's life that he would be nervous it would get out there. So that's why I said it then. It wasn't like I'd been saying it for years." In the same episode of The After Show, Erika noted that she hates texts because they can be taken out of context, saying she and Kyle both knew what Kyle meant in that moment. Erika said, quote, "You can take it like a script. I can make what you text him sound any effing way I want. And if you don't understand that, you're not creative. But you and I both know I know what you meant in that moment." However, in an episode of Watch What Happens Live, which aired on January 7th, Erika seemed to have the opposite opinion, saying, quote, "It's innocent, but it is inappropriate."
It's innocent, but it is inappropriate, meaning that once you separate, in my opinion, this is just me.
Okay.
Even though I know that that's all they were doing, for Erika, there's no good that could come from communicating.
Meanwhile, Sutton noted, quote, "Kyle is not one to tell friends secrets. Kyle can be very private and can hold things that you've said to her in private. She's not that person," adding that Kyle was defensive after feeling, quote, "exploited by Dorit at the reunion and wanted to let PK know that he can trust her." However, Sutton did seem to agree that clearly more than just memes and jokes were being shared, as in her confessional, she said, quote, "Wait a minute, this is not just about memes and jokes. This is a serious talk." Clearly, Sutton and Erika are struggling with loyalty versus morality with this one. So, while Erika and Sutton ride the fence, Garcelle and Bose are much more clear about where they stand.
The text, I'm paraphrasing, said something like, "I won't say anything I never have." So they have shared things about Dorit or relationship or whatever that no one else knows about. All this time, Kyle is really defending that it's just memes, so it's not all true.
Kyle doesn't know the definition of friendship, and she doesn't know the definition of ain't nothing going on. Because clearly there's something going on. This is proof of that. She is actively talking to PK in a way that is not superficial.
And, like the cast, the public are siding with Dorit too. In the comments on this Instagram post, liked by Dorit, one user commented, quote, "This entire season has shifted my love for Kyle to disdain. This response is a complete disregard for Dorit, and it's not a good look for Kyle." While another commented, quote, "What got me was Kyle said PK has been a better friend to her. How is that possible if she never speaks to him? And another eagle-eyed user commented, quote, Kyle was showing a screenshot of the text. She didn't want anyone to see what else was being sent. Seems suspicious. Anyway, Kyle, knowing she's losing support and fast, especially from new housewife Bose, who is firmly in Dorit's camp, made a desperate attempt to flip the script, deciding to bring up the rumours from back in 2022 that Dorit was being, quote, too touchy-feely with Mauricio. When visiting Bose, Kyle addressed Dorit's reaction to her messages with PK, saying, quote, you want to know something funny? Let me show you something funny. Do you know there was a whole rumour? It was a stupid rumour, but I'm just going to show you. There was a whole rumour started because they're like, Dorit is way too touchy-feely with Mo. Let's take a look at the clip in question.
How are you? How you doing, my man? I missed you. I'm all right. You? You made it home. I spoke to you last night.
Before all this,
I know, literally hours before, and this morning.
As we all know, this went viral back when it aired a couple of years ago, with fans accusing Dorit and Mauricio of an inappropriate relationship, which led Dorit to publicly deny any relationship with Mo. In an old post on Instagram, she had written, quote, Kyle and Mo are our friends, and my kids call them uncle and auntie. Do you think this is okay for my kids to see when it's a disgusting lie? So, when Kyle was confronted by Dorit this season about her recent messages with PK, after trying and failing to defend herself and explain what happened, Kyle decided to change tactic and brought the rumour up once again. Nothing screams guilty more than this kind of deflection. Anyway, all of this culminated in Kyle walking off set and taking a break from production for the first time in her 14 years of filming. Let's take a look.
Bo said something today that it made it seem like maybe it was something weird. So obviously I'm showing it. I have nothing to hide. So I'm going to read it to you guys now. And that is all I said. Now I'm done. I'm not going to be made to feel I've done something wrong. I've loved you and your family, everybody. I'm done with this.
In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter about this moment, Kyle said that she had reached a breaking point emotionally, stating, quote, I just didn't have it in me anymore. I was at a point where I was so depressed. I really felt like I was struggling with depression, and I expressed that. And I just felt like I could not go into scenarios all the time and just have everyone coming at me. In addition to the drama with Dorit, Kyle was also dealing with the very public breakdown of her marriage to Mauricio, which undeniably added another layer of stress for Kyle, which was too much to handle at the time. In the same interview with The Hollywood Reporter, reflecting on the moment, Kyle said, quote, people I thought were my friends, all of a sudden, it felt like they weren't. I just felt like it was too much with what was going on in my life. And I thought, why would I subject myself to this? I don't know why I'm continuing to do this. It was absolutely the closest I've ever got to not coming back to the show. During her time off, Kyle received a lot of support from Bravo and production, who encouraged her to take the time she needed to recover, as this was the first time she'd ever walked away from filming. Kyle explained to The Hollywood Reporter that this period of reflection allowed her to gather her thoughts and decide what she wanted to do, ultimately choosing to return to the show, saying she wants to keep busy amidst her separation from Mauricio. However, her temporary departure left a lingering tension, with some cast members expressing their intent to hold her accountable for walking out. This was perhaps the trigger for the next big rumour, which made headlines this week, when a source close to production told OK Magazine that the women are, quote, truly sick of Kyle always acting like the queen bee and not being completely transparent. The insider shared that, quote, some of them definitely are attempting to take her down this season. However, she's a producer on the show. Due to her role as a producer, the story always tends to go her way, and she tends to typically get what she wants, regardless of that being unfair to any other cast members on the show. The source claimed that even Erika, who has been, quote, kind to Dorit this year, is careful not to stir the pot too much, because she knows that it's, quote, Kyle's show. Perhaps this explains Erika and Sutton's two-sided reactions to Kyle's text with PK. Anyway, according to the source, after years of friendship, it appears that Kyle is allegedly trying to force Dorit to leave the show. The source said, quote, what Kyle's doing to Dorit is really ugly. She's trying to go around and get everyone on her side when it's obvious to the viewers and the other women she's talking to PK about personal things. They added, Kyle probably is hoping, by alienating Dorit, that she will end up leaving the show. That's just the way it works in this world. Put someone on an island and they will sink. The source concluded by reflecting all the way back to the early seasons where Kyle outed Kim as an alcoholic, saying, quote, Kyle outed her for being an alcoholic on TV in a moment where Kyle was able to make herself look better and like the victim. Who does that to a sister? Kyle does. Adding, quote, Kyle definitely has had her share of stuff in her closet for years, but again, with her being the producer, a lot tends to get buried or swayed. However, it appears that now, with the rumours around Kyle's relationship with Morgan, texts with PK, and the breakdown of her relationship with Mauricio, the cast aren't scared to confront her anymore, and things aren't really going her way. So maybe, for Kyle, it's time to push Dorit out. That's the timeline of events up until the date of recording on January 22nd. What do you guys think? Who's in the wrong here? Is Kyle justified in texting PK as a friend? And what about the rumours that Kyle edits things out about herself that she doesn't want aired? Do you think these housewives can reunite? Or is Beverly Hills on track to go the same way as all the other franchises, to court and recasting? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. This has been a long one, and I can't wait to discuss every detail of this with you guys. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more celebrity news and updates as they happen. Thanks for watching.